Hello everybody, welcome back to our engine. It's been a week. Been putting in the oil into the cylinders here and just letting the cylinder walls try to soak up as much penetrant oil as possible. And yeah, the next step is to see if she cranks over. And then after that, we'll probably pick it up, put it on an engine stand and start to look at the bottom end. Okay, we got the big pry bar here. Gonna see if we can get any leverage off the flywheel and free up this engine. She's stuck. Probably just gonna have to come at it from each one individually then.
Yeah, there's probably just one piston that's tight.
Okay, well let's get this thing in the air. Right on, just took the pressure plate off and that reveals the flywheel here. It's looking pretty good. Not a lot of scoring. It probably doesn't need to be resurfaced, maybe just cleaned up, so that's really awesome. And the ringer itself looks good too, so this flywheel might be totally usable. Yeah, that's fantastic. I don't know about the pressure plate, if we can reuse that, but that'd be an interesting exercise for sure. I think you can see where the clutch rivets were in the rust pattern there. Get a close look at that. Yeah, it looks grooved up, but it's not severely grooved up. Okay, so next I'm going to take off these 10 bolts here and remove the flywheel so it can go up onto an engine hoist. Okay, just about to remove the 10 flywheel bolts. You can see here, had to pry back the lock washer tab. You can see the thrust bearing. What's that, a thrust bearing in there? What's that thing called?
Pilot bushing.
Pilot bushing. Okay. Just about to remove the 10 major bolts that hold the flywheel to the crankshaft. Had to move these tabs, these lock tabs here, all 10 of them. And I cleaned the area just in case if maybe there was any asbestos or anything like that. I didn't want to breathe in. And yeah, we're going to use the big impact gun on this. And that's the only way to get these things free. There we go. This is like a NASCAR style here. There's one. Okay, got all those out. Pretty drama free when you have the impact gun. They just fly off. To get this off now, it can get quite stuck on the crankshaft to get the flywheel off. So I'm going to use this big mallet and just bang in from this side here. And I'll put down something soft for it to land, a soft landing. Let's do that right now. Let's see if we can do it real time here. Real time here, folks. Just getting her done. I'm going to put my knee pad right up underneath there. And let's give it some wax and see what happens here. I can see it moving. Okay, I'm just going to start banging on the top and the bottom. Let's see what happens. She sounds really stuck on the bottom there. Come on. Oh, here she comes. A couple more blows and she's off. There she is. All right, here we go. Got good progress. Engine's on the stand. You can see how it's set up here. All these bolts are well and tight because you want this engine on secure. It's quite a heavy unit. And next I'm going to drain the oil and then remove the pan out from the bottom. That makes sure I don't get any oil, residual oil, if I flip the engine upside down through the block. So this will keep all that sludge and crap down at the bottom, and I'll just withdraw the pan below. Look at that, Mother Nature's lubricant straight out of our oil pan. It looks pretty good, no signs of moisture. Just has a really old time smell. That black oil's been in there for a long time. It's still slowly draining out. Sorry. One of the first things I'm gonna do is remove this oil hose. This was kind of a bad idea on Jaguar's behalf because cars constantly leak at this oil hose. This is probably the original one. You can see that original chainy clamps there. That kind of gives it away that this has never ever been changed. And after I get this hose off, which I can cut off if I want, I have to take all these bolts out. There's many of them, probably 20 or 30 of them around the whole aluminum oil pan. And then it's gonna come off. We can have a look at what's inside. Oh, lots of progress here. Just started taking the oil pan bolts out and the pan just started to drop naturally. That's a sign that there was no sealant used on the gasket. I just got one bolt here holding it on. One thing to note is that these bolts over here, right up here in this greasy area, right here in this kind of shouldered area, they're longer than all the rest. And at the front of the engine here, there's actually just nuts holding it on. And these studs protrude down. So yeah, I just got to remove this one last remaining loose bolt and it's going to fall. Yeah, I can't record and do that at the same time, so I'll show you what it looks like once it's off. Okay, there she is. Just got her out. You can see years of sludge buildup in the bottom there. Yeah, I'm going to have to clean this out, put it in a parts washer, and then I'm going to do something really neat. I'm going to get it cleaned with a vapor blasting process. That's going to really make it beautiful. So yeah, that's it. The pan's out. Next thing to do is rotate the block and we can have a look at the crank and the oil pump. Okay, curiosity has caught the better of me. I think I'm going to try to remove some of the long studs on this block, see if they come out, and yes, just see if I can double nut them and get them out. If I can, it'll make the future head removal a lot easier. Probably just want to try to take out some of these really long ones. They're going right down into the water jacket. Okay, I kind of lucked out, got this long stud loose. Before I take it out though, I'll mention that if you're going to take out these studs, you probably want to note which length comes out of which hole. That way it'll go back together again. You won't have to go look it up. But yeah, let's see what this thing looks like here. Just use the old double nut technique. I'm going to pull it out and we can see what we got. Holy, it goes way down in there. Wow, look how crusty that is. I'll just keep forcing it here. Quite long piece. Okay, there she is. So that's what was lurking at the end of that stud. They're quite long. I think they're like 13 inches around that length, or maybe longer actually. But yeah, you can get these, I think, in ARP or just an aftermarket, and might try to get all the rest of them out of here. Let's see how this goes. Got one that's really stuck on here. Here's the technique. I guess I could have moved those other studs out of the way. They're just sitting there. Is it coming off?
I think it might be.
You got it. Wow, success. Oh.
Oh, nuts are turning. I think it's the nuts turning.
Oh, nuts.
Oh, thought it was something good, but
Nuts.
oh no, it's turning out. It's coming out.
It's turning out. Nice. Holy, lucked out with that one. If this didn't give, one of the options I was thinking about doing is removing the frost plug down here and trying to heat up the metal around the bottom of the stud. Right on. So there's a bit of a cheat here now because you can stick this ratchet end in and then just ratchet it out. Right on. Look at that coming out. All right, got all the studs out. Here's what they look like. Kind of organized them down each side of the engine. So you can see these are all for the right side. They look pretty good on the top, but then as you descend down, you get into a bit of corrosive mess. And that's kind of the idea with putting new ones in. I don't think it's hard to screw up which way they go, because if you look at all the long ones, the second and the sixth one are the ones that are slightly longer for the, what do you call it, the little bracket that holds, that'll help you lift the engine up and out. So the longer studs are just for those brackets. What else can I say? When I was taking them off, I noticed actually some cool things that are probably original to the block. One is this small G stamped by each stud here on the driver's side. Not really sure what that's for. And also there's a head stamping here. I think they stamped these on the head, this 262 Jag stamp. Shows that it's probably the original deck. It's never been skimmed on the top of the engine block. Yeah, so that's the studs out. Pretty happy, lucked out with the double nut technique there. Failing that, yeah, you might have to do some more investigation in these frost plugs. And they'll be coming out too. Yeah, one thing I'll do as a reminder is I'll put the lengths and the part numbers of these studs in the video description. That'll provide a reference in the future. And also want to note that this one that I labeled 6L here is a dowel stud. You can see the thicker flange right there. That helps locate the cylinder head squarely on the block. Wow, look at that. There she is. Turned her upside down after I got those studs out. And here you can see the crankshaft and the main caps and the oil pump and its tubing over here. A couple things to note is the red paint in there. That's from the factory. I think they paint it and it makes it a little more slippery for the oil, but I'm not exactly sure. Look over here on the block. You can see the block, they label each main cap. So there's WAG 1, WAG 2, and WAG 3, and so on. If you look closely, you can see them stamped on the caps. Where's this one? There's WAG 2. All right, pump's off, but I got a lot more work ahead of me. I'm gonna start at the front of the engine here. So water pump's gonna come off, this harmonic damper's gonna come off with its pulley, timing cover's gonna come off, all the timing's gonna have to come out. Then moving down the line, the distributor shaft there, gonna have to remove that sprocket. And then I'm gonna have to go up to the front here, and there's an oil seal cap right here that needs to come out. And only then, after all those things, can I tackle these main caps. So bear with me, it's gonna be a bit of work getting all this stuff out of the front end. Righto, so here's how we take off the dampener and pulley. Just use the 1 and 5/16 on the impact gun there. Big socket. One thing that's kind of weird about this is the lock tab. I think that this is set up incorrectly. The tab washer should be on the other side of this big nut. Because right now as it stands, I can just impact this off the way it is. Yeah, so that lock tab's supposed to be the other way around. I'll show you what I mean once it's off. All right, just got that off and put the lock tab in the right position just so you can have a look and see what that looks like. So if it was set up right, this lock tab would come out and then you'd impact this thing right off. You need the impact gun, it's quite a large taper. Let's just show you what the thread looks like here. And that's what the thread looks like going into the crankshaft. So the next step will be to do a light pounding on the back side right here. Just give it a few blows and see if this thing will come off of its taper. All right, got the damper up. It sits on this taper right here. Kind of works like as a collet. There's a key right here that makes sure it only goes on one way. You can see the key right there. Next, I'm going to take off this aluminum timing cover and hopefully reveal some nice looking chains. Okay, got the water pump and the damper off. Next, gonna take off this taper. It's kind of like a large oversized collet that holds the harmonic damper in place. The reason we need to take this off is so that this seal can slide out and we can withdraw this whole timing cover. Oh, using the spoons. Oh, did it just go there or not? Okay. Oh, there it goes. Oh, nice. Done.
It's not broken either.
We didn't break it. I should have caught it there. Nice, good work, awesome. So now this timing cover should just slide right off. You want to slide it off?
Let's try not to hit the floor with this one.
So my hand ready here. Oh, it's warming off this large. I don't know what this is. Okay, there she is off. And look at that, there she is, the timing gear for this thing, the two major chains there. See the hydraulic tensioner here? It's out quite a lot, eh?
I would say it's normal wear.
And you got these guides. And the top of the chain, the eccentric idler cam. Right on. Okay, we're one step closer. Okay, so what's next? Oh, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
That slides off, and this whole thing will slide off with it. Take the tensioner off.
Take the tensioner off?
You can
Okay.
actually lift the chain right off of there. Once you get this on done, you can slide this out and just lift the chain off.
Okay, so tensioner's gonna come out first there. Lift this chain out. And these 4 bolts are coming out. Then gonna take all the timing gear out. Wow, that's a big step. Okay, timing gear is going to come out. Just going to withdraw it off the bottom here and grab it off the top. There you go, that's it. She's off. Probably get new units. Oh, look at the back side of the timing chain there. Wow, that's interesting. Pretty rare sight. Guides look okay, eh? Probably just going to leave those.
Yeah, and a little bit, tiny bit of wear.
Does this need to come off? That sprocket?
It doesn't have to come off.
No. Yeah, so next is the distributor shaft gear here. Has a simple lock tab, and we have a special wrench for that, don't we? Mm-hmm. We'll get the special wrench out. All right, just looking at the timing assembly here on the bench. My dad gave me a tip, and that's to put these 4 bolts back in and just keep everything together until we're ready to put the new chains in the motor. So for now, I'm just gonna throw this through the parts washer and leave it as one big unit. And I just tightened up the lock wire here so that these sprockets aren't falling all over the place. All right, there's a bit of a trick to getting this distributor shaft sprocket off, or gear. We have this special tool made up. It's the bottom half of the distributor that draws up and into where the distributor normally sits. You can see the tooth there. You have to go a little, there you go, right there. It'll engage the shaft. What is that called, that pin on the end of the distributor? Like a woodruff or something, or?
It's an offset key.
A key, yeah. So we're looking to just mate in. It's right here. It's like more like this angle. There, right there.
And there's an offset on it. It's got to be offset the other way, probably. See, this is offset.
Uh-huh.
Large offset, small offset. So it can only go in one way, the distributor.
Oh.
But it seems like with the range of our tool here, we need to turn the engine, which we can't do.
Okay, we're getting kind of hasty. We're going to try to remove the gear right off the crank. Actually, not right off, just out of the way, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing how close that distributor gear is to that main cap. That's the way they designed it. It's really tight in there.
Okay, now we'll just put the impact on that and nut off.
Yeah, so now with the gears free, as my dad said, we'll just try the impact on that nut there and see if she'll come loose. This is the second one in recent time we've had that's been really tight. All right. Okay, here we go. Now the shaft's free of the gear, so we can draw up and mate our tool into place. There we go. And then we need the socket. Okay, now we're looking good. We got the setup, got the tool holding the shaft, and hopefully gonna break that nut free off that shaft. There she is. That's how it's done. So this gear should lift right up and out of here now, eh?
Not quite, because what will happen is it's going to run to the main cap.
Right.
So what I have to do is just,
It comes up with it?
there's a key on there, a Woodruff key that drives this thing.
Yeah.
So what happens to this gear is it's tight on there, but it will tap the shaft down slightly and tap the gear up slightly, and it'll pull up off the Woodruff key. You can
Oh, I
put a
see.
little puller on here and just pull it with a little puller to pull it off if we have one. That'll fit.
Yeah, so we want to take this gear off. You can see the clearance here at the main cap. And I'm just going to give it a light tap. See a keyway in there. Oh, it's dropping, definitely. Jeez.
No problem, look, the keyway fits in there, no problem, so we don't have to worry about that, see? There's clearance for it.
Oh, nice. There's the distributor shaft.
The gear looks fine, there's nothing worn at all.
Nice, good. It's a
And
good
this
sign.
bushing looks good in there too, so I think you're ready to take the main caps off.
Nice, okay, well that's it for this video. Until next time, we're gonna get the main caps off and have a good look at what the crankshaft looks like, and hopefully get some of these pistons out of here. So yeah, that's all the work we're gonna do today. Pretty much ready to take the main caps off and have a good look at the crankshaft and try to get some of these pistons free. One last thing I'll comment on is how it was really clean in here. It's a really nice looking engine. By comparison over here, I have a Mark 10 engine we were considering doing up, and you can just see how much dirtier it is. And this is an indication probably that it's had a lot more miles. Just in the block itself where that red paint is there, you can see what it looks like on this older Mark 10 engine, and then you go back to this one and you can still see the bright red paint inside. So yeah, this engine is remarkable. I'm really happy, and hopefully this will be totally usable. Yeah, so that's it for this video. Tune in next time. We'll have a good look at the cylinder walls, hopefully, and get these pistons out of here. So that's it. I'm signing off. Thanks for watching. Okay, thanks everybody. Bye-bye.